Fat people are not lazy. As a fat person, I can tell you, I ain't lazy. As someone who has lived in a fat body his entire life, I can tell you, I ain't lazy. I have climbed mountains, I have crossed rivers, I am in the gym every day, I am on the trail several times a week. I work hard and I am not lazy. I am trying to figure out where this whole narrative of fat and lazy came from. It drives me insane. And people look at someone like myself who's in a bigger body. And yes, I am currently have started GLP-1s, absolutely. And there's a reason for that, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. But people look at me like, oh, he's fat and lazy. The sheer number of times in real life and on the internet, people have told me to put down the potato chips and get off the couch and go for a walk or go lift a weight is freaking ridiculous. And this is something as a fat person I've dealt with my entire life. I have been bigger, fat, husky, plus size, whatever you want to call it, pretty much since I think I was 10. Before that, my weight fluctuated. I'd be skinny and then I'd be chubby and then I'd be skinny and then I'd be chubby. And we see this in media. We see the fat person who's lazy and just gorges themselves with food. We see the fat person who's going on a hike in a sitcom or doing some sort of exercise and they're like breathing hard because they can't keep up. I mean, think about certain stereotypes in media. I think of, for instance, Friends. Friends is a great example. You have Monica Geller, who before in the show, you see the flashbacks of the show, she was fat and they portray her as this lazy, food-obsessed person who became a cook. And yes, in the show, she lost the weight, but the way they put on a fat suit on her and they portray her as this person who's just, not very socially, apt and just, kind of stupid and obsessed with food and always caught eating, it's really rather offensive. And that's with so many portrayals of fat people. And it drives me nuts. You see, fat people are not lazy. We are not obsessed with food. We don't need to just work harder. We don't need to just try more. We don't need to just get in the gym. So many of us are in the gym. So many of us fight the fight of disordered eating, like I have come to find out through therapy, pretty much my entire life. So thanks to things like genetics and disordered eating, I've found myself in a fat body. Many of you know, a few months ago, I was in a debate with the YouTuber Jesse James West. It was a debate he put on between like these muscle-bound dudes and 3 fat influencers. So it was 3 muscle-bound dudes and 3 fat influencers. And the debate was, is being fat a choice? And obviously, I took the stance that not necessarily, and I was a little nuanced in it because yes, there are people who absolutely may, and I don't think I've actually met them, choose to be fat when they could be skinny. But as someone who dieted all through high school, college, 20s, 30s, who spent hours and hours in the gym, who would starve himself and really feed into the disordered eating, I could tell you I didn't want to be fat and I tried so hard not to be. Because let me tell you, being fat in this world is not easy. Now I realize I am a straight cis white dude, so I have a lot of privilege already. I get that, and I'm gonna recognize that, and I wanna hold space for that because yes. But then I talk to my friends who are women of color who have an extremely hard time being fat and a woman of color or fat and queer or whatever. People look at you different when you're fat. They treat you different when you're fat. Ask any person who used to be fat and is no longer fat, they will tell you, yeah, people treated me like crap before and now they don't. Now I'm not saying all people, but in general, the overall consensus is people treat you differently when you're smaller. And I've definitely experienced this in my own life. There was a period of time where I lost about 80 pounds. I was still big. I still would have considered myself fat, but the people around me and others saw me and treated me way differently when I was losing the weight. And the people I met treated me differently because I was kind of more of a mid-sized person. I wasn't necessarily having to shop in the plus size section for a while. And nobody really knew is that I was, taking caffeine diet pills. I was starving myself. I was in the gym twice a day, and I was very unhappy. But people kept saying, oh, you look so great, it's so awesome. Now I get people were trying to encourage me. I'm holding space for that too. But I also want to recognize that you are treated differently if you're fat. And there is this perception that if you are fat, you must be lazy. In this debate with the other muscle-bound guys, actually, two of them were great. Two of them were awesome. They were really nice, despite the fact they held to the belief that you can choose not to be fat. They were actually really great. They were anti-fat shaming, which was great. The other guy, he was not. He actually said fat shaming was a good thing, and fat shaming should be more prevalent to get fat people to stop being so fat. At one point, I don't remember if this made it into the edit or not of the video, he said if more people fat shamed, if we had more fat shaming, there'd be less fat people. And I can't remember if that was, I remember he said that, I can't remember if it was in the edit or not, but I'm gonna put a link to Jesse James West's video down below if you wanna check that out. But listen, my family have all pretty much been fat. I look on both sides of my family, mom's side, dad's side, grandparents, aunts, uncles. It's just something I've inherited. And plus, disordered eating for a variety of reasons made it a no-win. And no matter how much I tried, how much I punished my body, I couldn't keep the weight off and I couldn't do it. And I worked so hard. And for the last 5 years, I have been ferocious on the trail. I have been in the gym. I have tried so many times to lose weight. And I just couldn't do it because my body just was wanting the food, and the genetics and the disordered eating was just fighting with my mind and my body, and I was just desiring food all the time. But as many of you do know, I did start a GLP-1. Started this week, and I'm already starting to feel the effects. And I understand there's nuance here because I'm a person who has literally spoke at FatCon, who has literally stood up for fat liberation and fat acceptance. And guess what? I still do. Those things about me have not changed, nor will they change. But in consultation with my doctors and my family and my therapist, looking at my family history and what my parents and my grandparents, I no longer have any living grandparents, have dealt with in their weight, cardiovascular issues, cancer, other things. And the fact that I'm a person who loves the outdoors, who loves adventure, and there are things that I want to do that because I'm in a bigger body, I can't do. So in talking with my doctor, he talked to me about GLP-1s, and he's like, this could be an option for you. We can see if this works. And I talked it over with my family, with my therapist, and I felt like a sense of betrayal too, because like I said, I've literally spoke at FatCon. But the more I learned, the more I researched, the more I realized the science is there, and this is something I should try. And I'm doing this for me. Because the past 5 years, being a part of the body positivity movement, I learned to accept myself. I learned to love myself. And I'm so grateful for that movement and that community that has helped me. And I'm holding them near and dear, and I always will, no matter what size I am. Because every body is beautiful. And every body deserves respect, love, and dignity and respect. And denying those things to people, calling someone fat and lazy, denies their humanity. Thank you all so much for watching. This is something that I'm just trying to navigate. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell. Also, YouTube thinks you're going to like these videos, and if you have not yet, follow me at all the various social media networks at andyfilmsandhikes. With that, everybody, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Make sure you check all the links and everything below, and I will see you later. Bye-bye!